Hello and welcome to today's episode of the program The Law, the People and the Governance here on Spectrum Television. I am your host, Rachel David White. Alright, so today we're talking about Naira scarcity, political parties reactions to Supreme Court, and of course today we'll take a look at a whole lot of things, and we'll have a guest who will be joining us virtually in the person of Dorian Omana. He is a public and political affairs analyst. So today we're going to talk about the latest ruling by the Supreme Court. Of course, you know, the federal government yesterday said it was studying Wednesday's ruling by the Supreme Court that halted temporarily the move by the federal government and, of course, the central bank. It also halted that there should be a hold on the cash swap. The deadline, it's no more 10th February, but just before they did that, of course, we haven't come to a final judgment, so we're going to talk about that today. And also, this is to inform you that this program is very interactive, and this program is interactive, yes, so you can join us through the phone number that will be put on your screen. All right, so our guest is already waiting. Okay, let's welcome our guest. Welcome, Mr. Dorian Omana. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Dorian Omana, can you hear us?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, if you can hear me.
Yeah,
Welcome.
you hearing me? Because I'm not hearing you.
Oh, I can hear you clearly. Welcome to the show. All right, so welcome there, but just before we bring him in, the federal government yesterday said it was studying Wednesday's ruling, already said that by the Supreme Court, that halted temporarily the move by the federal government and Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to phase out the old 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira notes from February 10th. And also, we'll take a look at the response by Dr. Jibrin Omar Gwandu, who is Special Advisor to the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami. And he said the federal government is studying the ruling and will take necessary steps within the context of the rule of law before the 15th day of February 2023, when the matter is adjourned for hearing. And this comment came as Governor of CBN, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, again met with President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday at the State House, Abuja, on the current issue. Now, it was the second of such meetings in 2 days. Buhari had on Tuesday met with Emefiele alongside Chairman of Nigeria Governors Forum, that's Aminu Tambuwal, the Governor of Kebbi State, and Chairman of Progressive Governors Forum, Atiku Bagudu, and Chairman of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that's Abdul Rashid Bawa. And the CBN governor, that's Godwin Emefiele, was cited around the office of the president a few hours after the Supreme Court gave a temporary injunction restraining the federal government from banning the use of the old Naira notes from tomorrow. Now, it was not clear what Emefiele's mission was at the seat of government, as he refused to speak with reporters during the visit. But let's find out more details. Let's find out from our guest, of course, many things pertaining to this issue. Welcome, Mr. Dorian Omana. I hope you can hear us now. Okay, so let's just wait for him. Well, this is interactive, so you just pay attention. Of course, this issue has to do with you and I. It's something that concerns the whole nation, no matter who you are. The poor, the rich, the average, it's definitely getting to you. It's either you can't go anywhere because you can't get cash, or you are not able to withdraw your cash. Well, recently we've had some people crying in the banks trying to withdraw their cash, but it's not possible. Also had the issue of having to pay, yeah, people say buy your money, having to buy your money from the point of sale operators, because if you want to withdraw, let's say 10,000 naira, then you have to hold up to 1,500 naira to get the money. All right, so when we come back from the short break, we'll talk more. Stay tuned.
powers allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Okay, so we're being joined by Idorian Umana, a public affairs and also a political analyst. And welcome back to the show. It's still the program, The Law for People and Governance, here on Spectrum Television. Welcome, Idorian. Can you hear me? All right, good evening. I know I can hear you. I know you can hear me, actually.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
All right, so, Mr. Dorian, I'd like to ask you, I believe you understand what we're talking about today?
Yes, I do. I do, there.
Okay, so how important is the Supreme Court's judgment and what long-term effect is it likely to have on the policy?
All right. Thank you very much. I think when I heard yesterday that the Supreme Court has intervened to say that the central bank should not should not consider the deadline that it gave, which is supposed to be tomorrow. I had to do some findings from lawyers, because I have some few lawyer friends who are not biased by the Nigerian political system that makes lawyers divided.
All right, so we lost that connection. We're hoping that he's going to come back because we have to talk. I mean, so many people are saying some things. All right, so he's back. Go ahead.
Yeah, I found out from them. The first question I asked, does the Supreme Court have the jurisdiction to interfere with the CBN policies?
Okay.
And the question I have from the two of them was that the Supreme Court does not have the jurisdiction to hear or to intervene in the matters concerning the Central Bank of Nigeria. I now ask, so why is the Supreme Court interfering? And one of them asked me, are Supreme Court justices not Nigerians? And I said they are Nigerians. I said, and he now told me that they have seen the effect, the negative effects of the CBN policies, and that's why they want to interfere to save Nigerians from whatever we are passing through. We passed through in the last 1 or 2 weeks. And average Nigerians has never seen what is happening now, where you don't have money, and the little you have to buy naira in Nigeria. You've been buying dollars. So when it has gone to the extent that you now buy naira in Nigeria, where it's even easier for you to see dollars today and buy than seeing naira to buy in Nigeria, it called for a major concern. Now, I ask another question: is the Central Bank of Nigeria bound by law to adhere to the Supreme Court verdicts? And the lawyer said no, that the Central Bank may not, if they care, they may not listen to this Supreme Court, since the Supreme Court does not have the jurisdiction to hear. Another good thing today is that the federal government has filed. There's an appeal. There's a file. They filed some documents with the Central Bank, with the Supreme Court, on the reasons why the policy should not be truncated because of the Supreme Court. And I think by next week it will come. Both the Supreme Court may reverse themselves if they know that maybe if the federal government has a superior argument that you don't have the jurisdiction to hear this. But are we faring well as Nigerians because of this policy? And the answer is no. I am a Nigerian. I'm a public affairs analyst, but first I'm a Nigerian. And whatever affects the common man on the street affects me as an analyst, because whatever I have to say politically, socially, must be for the interest of the people. Now, the CBN, for me, the CBN was not ready for this policy. If the CBN was ready for this policy, the first thing the CBN would have done would have been to make sure that the infrastructure of the banking sector is top notch. Rachel, the truth is this: for 4 days now, I did a transfer to a bank from my account, my mobile app, and up till now, the money has not gone back to me. It hasn't gotten to the destination, and someone will ask, where is the
All right, so I think he's answering almost all the questions in just one question. Well, we have so many deep things to talk about today. Okay, welcome back, Idoreno Mana.
Yes.
All right, so I just want to ask before I want to take it one after the other. Okay.
Okay.
So now you've told us how you feel and how the common men feel, but do you foresee a constitutional face-off between the executive and of course, the judiciary at this point?
I don't see that coming, but I think the constitution for the act that established the Central Bank of Nigeria on its own is a law, and the constitution of the federal government is there. That means if the Supreme Court does not have the jurisdiction to hear whatever is happening with the Supreme Court and interfere with the CBN, the Supreme Court will withdraw from that. But if there is, like what I learned from my lawyer friends, is that it's only the Federal High Court that has the jurisdiction to hear anything about the Central Bank. And now, if you ask me, there are two conflicting judgments from the Federal High Courts. One is for and one is against. Do you understand? So now, I don't see any constitutional face-off. If you are not supposed to hear the case, that means the Supreme Court should know that they were not supposed to hear the case. But if the Supreme Court insists, and now the CBN that has a legal department does not see that they are supposed to honor the Supreme Court by law or by whatever edict, no, not edict here, whatever, what do I put it? Whatever happens that the constitution, whatever power the constitution gives to the central bank, that they are supposed to be bound by law of the Supreme Court or not, that will come to play. So if there's going to be any constitutional face-off, it will be that one person who is supposed to listen to a case is listening to a case, or one person who is supposed to honor, the other one is not honoring. But I think for the federal government to be able to file the case today with the Supreme Court means that they know that by law that the Supreme Court is not supposed to interfere. And if the Supreme Court at the end of the day, maybe because Nigerians are suffering, the Supreme Court feels that they are supposed to help Nigerians to stop the suffering. If at the end of the day they see that Nigerians will still suffer, but maybe for the short time, because for me, that law was meant to do one thing for Nigerians, to make us have a fair 2023 elections where money will not be in circulation for politicians to buy votes the way they will want. And I want to say here, by the time you have a good electoral process that throws up a man voted by the people without being coerced with money, without being bought, I think the suffering of Nigeria will start to reduce. But if we still have this same money bags coming in 2023, to still now use both the old and the new Naira note, because for me, if the new Naira note and the old Nigerian note will have to run till elections, that means.
Okay, well, we'll hope to have him back so he could continue telling us what he was telling us.
Of Nigerians.
Okay. All right, thank you, Dorian Umana. But the president has summoned a meeting, okay, of the Council of State tomorrow to solicit advice on how to tackle the situation. Now, what are your expectations from this meeting?
Well, that's a good move by the president. But I think for me, I don't know for any other Nigerian, but for me, when this policy was birthed, before the policy came, the CBN governor, in conjunction with the president, agreed that this policy should come. And what was the aim of this policy? At this point, I think leadership, you don't need to come and take advice from members of the Economic Council or so. So calling a meeting now will go to show that the president and the central bank governor are confused. Because if they are not, if this policy was meant to solve a problem, if the problem has not been solved, you cannot go back. All you do, you update your structure. You see what you can do to take away the suffering. If you ask me, for those who the president has called for a meeting now, I think you said the National Economic Council, I think Security Council.
Okay, no, I said the president has summoned a meeting of the Council of State.
That is elitist. Those are the guys who already have this money stashed. Those are the politicians. Those are the guys who themselves are involved in politics. And if you want advice from them, they will tell the president to allow the money to run, both the old and the new note to run concurrently. And they will achieve an aim at the end. Election is in 17 days. I think the presidential election is either in 16 or 17 days.
Sir.
Okay, so less than that. And if you allow this money, the two monies, to the new and the old Naira note to still run till that time, any man who has stashed money for him to use and buy vote will achieve his aim. And the policy would have, at the end of the day, the policy will come to nothing, will not have solved the problem. That policy was just it was not just for them to change money. It was there to change money and make sure a certain amount of money will be in everybody's position. I think for a bank, for a company, you are not supposed to withdraw more than 5 million naira, and for individual 500,000 a week. And this was supposed to take charge of those who wanted to use money to buy votes in 2023. So for me, it would have been a problem solved if this policy sees the light of the day. It will help us a lot. I will go for election to vote someone with my mind intact, not being induced with money. And you see what Nigerians have already passed through. A man who has a 20,000 naira problem leaves his house in the morning to go and vote, and he sees a man who comes with 10,000 to give him for that vote. He will get it, and vote the man, believing that the 20,000 problem he left at home, he has already solved 50% by taking 10,000. But if that same man leaves the 20,000 naira problem in his house and goes to a polling booth, and nobody is inducing him, he will remember that the 20,000 naira problem, if he.
Okay, I just hope he comes back soon to complete what he was saying.
Hello?
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. We had a short hitch. All right, opinion is largely divided on the Supreme Court ruling. Now, you know, with some celebrating the news, but there are others who feel this because, you know, they feel this is corruption fighting back, because it seems some quarters are hell-bent on bypassing the CBN policy to use cash to truncate the electoral process. What do you think?
I think for me, the policy should be allowed to try. The CBN should be allowed to take this policy to the later. Let the CBN see what they can do to reduce the suffering of Nigeria. But for the policy, let the CBN, let nobody interfere with that. It will give us a better future. We may suffer today and not suffer again if we have good leaders. So for me, Nigeria should be ready to suffer for the last time. If we allow these policies to fail, or the only thing we will do, we are still going to have these same leaders who have embezzled our money, style them and wait for the next election to pay us to do their bit. They will achieve their bit at the end of the day. So for me, this policy should be taken to the later.
Okay. All right. Recently, INEC boss Mahmoud Yakubu claimed that the Naira scarcity could hamper the successes of the polls. Do you believe, Sam, that the scarcity of Naira could actually hamper? I mean, we've had persons who said, what if the voters need to get to their polling units and they don't have cash to get there? What if INEC needs to transport some materials and they don't have, coupled with the fuel scarcity as well?
Yeah, I don't think so. Yesterday, I listened to Mahmoud Yakubu, the INEC chairman, saying that all the monies INEC have is domiciled with the CBN. And he has contacted the CBN. He had a meeting with the CBN governor. And the CBN governor has assured INEC that the monies, that they will never be cash strapped, not to be able to run their elections. And if the INEC has all their money domiciled in the CBN, that means the money will be readily available for INEC to use. Another, the Mahmoud Yakubu, the INEC chairman, also said that they have had a meeting with the Group Director of Nigeria Petroleum Corporation Limited, that's NNPC Limited now, and he has assured them of fuel stored for them. That means INEC will never run into problems of either fuel scarcity or money scarcity, which is a new normal in Nigeria now. The money scarcity, we never had it before. But I think because of the federal government trying to throw up a good leadership in 2023, that's why we're running into these issues. But I think with what I heard from the INEC chairman yesterday, I think this morning when he had after meeting with the president, he briefed the State House correspondent. So I think INEC will never go cash trap.
Okay. Well, the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprises, that's CCPE, of course, on Wednesday, lauded the restraining order issued by the Supreme Court on the deadline for the currency swap program in Nigeria. And in a statement by Muda Yusuf, that's their chief executive officer, the organization noted that the order will bring back stability to economic activities, particularly in the informal sector and rural economy, and ease current social tension in the country. Now, do you agree with these assertions?
Was a snag on the network. I wasn't hearing you. Please come again with that.
Okay, so I said the Center for Promotion Private Enterprises, that's CPPE, okay, they've actually lauded the restraining order issued by the Supreme Court on the currency swap program in Nigeria. And Muda Yusuf, their chief executive officer, said this will bring economic stability in the country and, of course, ease the tension that is currently going on. Do you agree with that assertion?
Well, I won't agree with that. He is talking as an entrepreneur who is looking at the immediate gains, who is looking at buying and selling right now. But I'm looking at the political gains of this policy. And I want to say that if we have a political solution, he's looking for an entrepreneurial solution, which is round. He's not considering the future of the country. He's not considering the political gains we're supposed to gain from this policy. But for me, it is good for entrepreneurs if the money goes side by side. But he does not also know the negative impact of that in the political system in this country. We're going into elections, and over the years, we have seen that now politicians know that votes count. Like now, the beavers it's going to be a near perfect process to elect leaders. So the only thing left for the politicians to do now is vote buying. And these are the same people who have put us the way we are. They have struggled us, they've struggled us financially, they've made us to go cash trap, such that our mentality is now everybody is looking at in this election, how much am I going to make? So for him, he has a right because it depends on what he's looking at. He's looking at entrepreneurial gains. But for those of us who are looking for the political gains, I think the policy should not be shifted. The policy should be sustained. Should be sustained. At least let us for once go into elections, a free and fair election like what we had in 1993 when Abiola came. When we voted Abiola, that time there was no real financial inducement. We voted people because of their capacity. That was why MKO Abiola was able to win Alhaji Toba in his own unit. That goes to show that Nigerians then believed in a free and fair process. It was from 1999 that when we started having a ballot running, we started having violent elections. And now that INEC has come out to say that you don't need to run with ballot box, the politicians now know that the only way out is vote buying.
All right, let me use that moment to remind us that this program is very interactive. Of course, you can ask questions and also drop comments via the phone number displayed on the screen. You can send WhatsApp messages as well. Of course, we're here to entertain your questions. All right, so welcome back, Dorian Umana.
Thank you.
All right, so I'd like to ask you one question I've been asking others. We've had elections over and over and over again. You've mentioned MK Abiola way back in 1993, and this is almost 30 years since we started running the elections now. Now, why is it that we keep on having these issues? I mean, haven't we developed to a point where we should get it right by now?
We are not that developed, and as a poor nation, we are not that developed. If we had democracy strive from that 1993 till date, maybe after that election that brought MKO Abiola, Nigerians would have known the advantage of having a free and fair election. But after that was stronggated in 1999, when President Olusegun Obasanjo, his election was marred with irregularities, that snowballed into the 2007 election with Yaradua, and Yaradua was the only president that after he was sworn into office, in his address he said.
All right, just a moment. I'm sorry about that. Let's take a call. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. All right, so we lost that call. I'm sorry. Can you hear us now? Hello? Okay, I think we'll have to take another call. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening, welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Peter. I'm calling from Abuja.
All right, Peter, what is your comment?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. I hope you can hear us as well.
Yes, I'm interested in the conversation that is going on. My own contribution is that what we are witnessing now is politicians trying to hijack the system. So I'm in agreement with your person there that is you are conversing with, that they should allow the CBN policy to stay true. It should stay. All this postponement is not going to help us. We have already suffered. So let us just suffer once and for all. By postponing it and postponing it, just like postponing our suffering. So the best thing is for us to just end it up and know that, okay, by next week, it's only the new Naira that will be in circulation. So all this will align the old Naira and the new Naira to be running at the same time. It's not going to help us. So we should allow these politicians to know that we don't need them. Yes.
Okay.
They don't need, although they want to buy the voters.
Okay.
And that is why you see a politician in their campaign, they are already saying, okay, they are already giving assurance to the people that don't mind them, that the Naira and the old Naira and the new Naira
Are going to coexist.
will continue to go.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for that comment. Let's take another call. Hello. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Good evening. Tell us your name and your location, please.
Yeah, my name is You the Best. I call it from Calabar.
All right, you the best. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love Nigeria so much because we are in good and suffering. Like my brother have already said, they are responding of this new currency. I don't think it's going to help us because even the scarcity of wealth, we have been passing through suffering a lot. So even some places you pay 15 naira thereabout, the transport have increased. So they should just allow this deadline to end so that this new naira note will be circulated. And I know I believe that the reason why we are suffering like this is that the politicians have packed away this new naira note. That's why we are suffering like this. So, and it's going to help us a lot. So that if those people that is coming to rig this election or to take this position of a presidential election, they are not going to succeed. So I know our vote is going to do the needful. We have already know the people we are going to vote for this 2023 election. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You the best. Have a great day. All right, keep the calls coming. The number is on your TV screen so we can talk. All right, so we'll try and bring back Dorian Umana so he can continue from where he stopped. Don't forget, we're talking about reactions getting from people from the federal government, lawyers, political parties, and even the presidential candidates as well, the election candidates, pertaining to the Naira crisis we're currently having. Now, I would love to ask, why are we bent on stopping this? Isn't it possible that it would be wise to get the CBN to make new notes more available? Well, that's just thoughts of the people, though. So when we bring back our guest who's on the show, he's going to do justice to that particular question. Let's see if we can bring him back. Hello, can you hear us? Okay. All right, so he's back on the show. Welcome back, Idora Umana. I'm sorry about we're having issues with our connections, but I'm sure it's going to get better. This is something on ground. We have the Supreme Court moving to stop the CBN from actually implementing the deadline, the February 10th deadline. And also we have people who are saying this is good news. I mean, this is going to end the suffering of Nigerians. People have cash trapped everywhere. Of course, you heard it from our guest who made transfer and it didn't get to the destination or return back to him, and the money has been hanging. We also have people who are saying, we heard from our two callers who said this is like saying, let's suffer for the last time. Let's not push this again. Let's not extend it again. Let's suffer for the last time and know, yeah, we're not going to suffer again. Let's avoid issue of vote buying. Let's avoid getting this money, the old notes and the new notes, to coexist. So the politicians, well, like they say, won't have to buy vote with this money. Now, what do you think about this? Do you think this is a good thing, the Supreme Court ruling that there should be a ban on the CBN from ending the cash swap on 10th February? Or do you think that CBN should go ahead? Of course, you've heard it already that the court has no power over the federal government unless the federal government decides so. And of course, you know that if maybe by next week we'll get a total judgment on what we should do, if the money is actually going to stop or if it's still going to be in circulation. Well, let's have a guest join us back. Welcome back, Idora Umana. All right, we're still having that issue, so once disconnected, I'll let you know. All right, So we're talking about this issue, and when we come back from the short break, we'll take some calls and, of course, hear from our guests as well. Do stay tuned.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigeria, from issues on politics,
hello Nigeria, remain committed,
security, education, health, lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
All right, welcome back to the program, The Law of the People and Governance. And today on the program, we're talking about Naira scarcity, of course, the place of political parties and reactions from others to the Supreme Court ruling. All right, let's take some calls and then we'll try to connect back to our guests. Hello, good evening.
Hello, evening.
Good evening. Tell us your name and your location.
Good evening.
I can hear you. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, my name is Patrick Aka.
I can hear you. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Patrick Aka. I'm calling from Akwa Minikota, Wasilwaga.
All right, Patrick, go ahead.
My name is Patrick Aka. I'm calling from Akwa.
Okay, Patrick, please could you turn down the volume of your television set?
Okay, I want to say something. I want to contribute in this.
Could you turn down the volume of your television set?
Okay, all right. Are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to say about the Naira, the problem with Naira, change of Naira. The problem is that I see the bankers also being the problem of Nigeria. Because if you see, I know that the new notes have gone to some banks. They prefer to give to the politicians. This is our problem. The bank managers are also the problem. And that is what I want to say. I'm angry about that.
All right. Thank you so much, Patrick.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, keep the calls coming. The number is on the screen. Of course, let's get to know your reaction and how you feel already. You heard Patrick blames the issue also on bankers because we've had some videos trending on media platforms where some bank managers have been arrested. And of course, you know, currently a particular bank is trending for that issue where the money comes, the new Naira notes comes, but yet it's not in circulation. Hello, good evening. Let's take another call.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Tell us your name and your location.
Yeah, stay you the best from Calabar.
All right, go ahead.
Like I rightly said before, have you gone to the bank or ATM to see how people are suffering just to collect your money? The money we suffered a lot to put in, but to collect it back now is now a problem. Can we remember the past when Nnamdi Kanu said that that you have your money in the bank, but to collect it would be a difficult thing? That was 2018, and this is what we are suffering now. So if we continue like this, I know the change is going to come. So I really like what is going on now, but they should stop suspending these Naira notes the time the CBN have given to us, so that everything will be in normal circumstances. Let us suffer it for now, and I believe as time goes on, everything will be okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You the best. Let's take another call. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tell us your location and your name. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Auntie.
Please turn down the volume of your TV set or you move away from that, please.
Okay, I have turning down the volume.
All right, so...
can you hear me now?
Yes, tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
I'm calling from Onitsha. I'm Mr. Emmanuel James.
All right, Emmanuel James, go ahead.
My contribution is that what we have suffered, everybody knows about it. And these politicians, already, from my experience, they're going to main market and buy this money. I've seen people who have bought 100,000 for 160,000. They transfer 160 and they get 100,000. So the best is for us to endure the suffering. I have gone to bank more than 3 times and I cannot be able to get money. I will stay there, collect number 109 and wait after, before you could know it, they will tell you that the money is finished and you trek and go back. So we have been suffering. The best thing is for us to continue the suffering until everything after the election.
It's okay.
So
we've had your comment. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. All right, let's take another call as we're coming to the end of the show. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. What's your name and your location?
Yeah, I want to contribute on the program that you are making now.
Okay, tell us your name and where you're calling us from, please.
My name is Ed, calling from Kaduna State.
All right, go ahead.
I heard about, I want to contribute on this CBN resigning of Naira. So what I'm trying to contribute, based on my opinion, is that, you see, you cannot fight political corruption and kill economy in this country, because it has to be balanced. Corruption, even in the Western world, it exists. Yeah, it exists. What I'm trying to say is that no matter how, there's a way of how to block the corruption, not by supporting Nigeria. So I don't even support this kind of, I never ever had this kind of policy.
So are you of the opinion that the Supreme Court should go ahead, or the CBN should go ahead with the ruling of the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
Because you in fact, even in Britain now, the Queen died, but still up to now, there isn't that old money that bear the Queen in their currency.
But don't forget that don't forget that they are also trying to get end this monarchy when it comes to putting faces in money. They're also trying to do that. So we're expecting something like this also over there.
Well, but in fact, you see, in fact, what I'm saying is that, in fact, okay, let us see. But corruption, you cannot see corruption because God already, that's why God already give us who committed, he should be punished. So if in fact, the sin that we are committing, God already provided the law which become punish the person who committed. So you can't eliminate it. So you can only prevent it. So this kind of policy is a capital punishment for all Nigerians. I don't support that at all.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for your comment and contribution. Thank you. All right, so the show is going. I wish it could go on and on and on again, but if we check our time, we've got 5 minutes to the top of the hour, and this has to come to an end. Of course, we'll bring you the show next week, expected on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, same time, same station, Spectrum Television. And of course, you know, I am always delighted to be your host. My name is Rachel David White. When you're voting, don't forget to vote rightly, vote wisely, and vote just once. Let your thumbprint go into the box and not outside or in between the two boxes. Keep a date with us next week. Have a great day. Good evening. And also don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. My name is Rachel David White.